The other story that's dominating this morning is Prince Harry. Yeah. There's a story in your old paper, The Sun, Prince Harry Deliveroo, and this is speaking to the fact that when he was last in the UK, I think it was last May, he stayed at a multimillionaire friend's house, I think in Chelsea, and Deliveroo delivered to the house. And ex-bodyguards like Ken Wharf, who used to look after Princess Diana's security, have said, this is ludicrous. You're putting yourself at risk. You can't have Deliveroo turn up at the door and deliver to a former member of the royal family in one breath and then complain that you're not safe in the UK in another. No. In general, what's your analysis of Prince Harry?
Well, it's a sad story, and I think lots of families will actually recognise this. People have got these sort of problems within their own families, and you've seen David Beckham's son is not even turning up.
Brooklyn hasn't gone to his 50th, yes.
So it's not uncommon, but this is the royal family, and therefore it's big potatoes. And I think that Harry is doing what they do in California, which is telling his own truth, which is quite different to the actual truth. And the idea of having a Deliveroo driver, this is a man who is claiming that he needs protection from potential Al-Qaeda terrorists, having Deliveroo drivers who are often Afghani, certainly from that neck of the woods, coming to deliver with a big box
Obviously,
on the
we
back.
are not suggesting that anyone that delivers for Deliveroo who might come from Afghanistan is ergo a terrorist, but we are making the point that it could be anyone turning up at the door with a box full of anything. That's the point here, and I do get your point about...
We are treading on eggshells, of course.
We're treading on, but we always tread on eggshells just because we need to be very careful, but I do get the point that you're trying to make.
Hey, Squad. Welcome back to another episode of the Royal Sussex Squad, where we bring you truth receipts and that unapologetic love for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. If you're tired of the smear campaigns, the double standards, and the obsession the British media has with tearing down the Sussexes, you are in the right place. Before we dive in, take a second to tap that subscribe button if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you never miss when we drop new content, and if you want to support this platform and keep us going strong, drop a super thanks. It goes a long way in helping us push back against the nonsense. Now let's talk about the latest ridiculous attempt by the media to twist a story and spin it into yet another reason to criticise Harry and Meghan. Because believe it or not, the tabloids are actually trying to shame Harry for visiting so-called dangerous countries. Yes, you heard that right. They're mad that the man has continued his humanitarian work and global outreach in places that don't look like Buckingham Palace. Apparently, Prince Harry's recent visits to places like Mexico, Ukraine, Nigeria, Lesotho and Colombia have triggered a flurry of pearl-clutching articles. And all of it is being used to question why he feels unsafe in the UK. As if walking into a literal war zone is somehow safer than stepping into a country where the press has made a sport out of vilifying you, your wife and your children. Let's pause for a moment. Harry is a veteran. He's done 2 tours in Afghanistan. This man knows what actual danger looks like. He knows how to assess risk. But more importantly, he knows how to prioritise service. What the British media continuously fails to understand, or pretends not to understand, is that Harry isn't afraid of danger. He's afraid of being left unprotected in a country that has a documented history of feeding hateful rhetoric to the public and then turning around and stripping him of the very security he needs. Let's not forget, he offered to pay for his own protection. This wasn't a case of him demanding perks. He literally said, "I will fund it. Just give me the access and the right team." And the UK government still said no. Why? Because it was never about money. It was about punishing him for leaving the firm. So now, every time he travels, especially when Meghan or the kids are involved, he has to organise private security, pay out of pocket and plan with military-level precision. All because the British establishment would rather make an example out of him than acknowledge their failure to protect him and his family in the past. Now, let's look at where he's been. The tabloids love to scream about Harry and Meghan visiting cartel country in Mexico, specifically the Jalisco region, for Archie's birthday. But what they fail to mention is that the Quicksmiler Resort is one of the most exclusive eco-luxury destinations on the planet. We're talking about a place where celebrities, heads of state and billionaires stay. So what exactly is the issue here? That the Sussexes went somewhere beautiful, that they celebrated their son's birthday in peace far away from prying cameras. It's interesting how they leave out context like that, because if William and Kate had taken their kids to the south of France, which, by the way, also has crime, We'd get headlines about the royal family making beautiful memories abroad. But Harry and Meghan? Suddenly it's a reckless move in a war zone. Then there's the trip to Ukraine. Harry visited Lviv to meet wounded soldiers and show solidarity with a country ravaged by war. He went quietly, respectfully, and with purpose. Not a photo op, a mission. He didn't need palace approval or a press circus. He went because it was the right thing to do. But somehow that gets spun into, well, if he can go to Ukraine, why can't he come back to the UK without security? Let's unpack that. Ukraine is a nation at war, yes, but Harry is not the target of Ukrainian aggression. Meanwhile, in the UK, his wife has been the subject of targeted media harassment, death threats, and racist hate campaigns. His family has been under surveillance. Their movements are tracked. The British press stalks them for headlines. So again, it's not about physical danger in the abstract. It's about who is doing the threatening and how close they are. Next, they try to use his trip to Nigeria as more so-called proof that he's exaggerating his UK security concerns. Let's not forget that Nigeria invited Harry and Meghan because of their ongoing work with mental health and veterans. Harry even visited Kaduna, which is known for unrest. Again, not for vacation, but for purpose. He went there to highlight issues and meet people who are working for peace. And how about Colombia? The Sussexes were invited by the country's vice president. It wasn't a random visit. It was a diplomatic gesture. They brought international attention to communities that needed visibility and support. But of course, instead of celebrating that impact, the media wants to talk about crime statistics. Here's what they don't want to admit. Harry and Meghan are doing the work the monarchy should be doing. They're going where it matters. They're connecting with real people. And they're doing it all without a palace, without royal funding, and without the media tailing them every step of the way. The British establishment can't handle that. They're watching Harry and Meghan grow their global platform, build a brand of compassion and leadership, and they're doing it all on their own terms. That's what terrifies the firm and the press, because they've been trying to write these two off for years, and yet they stay booked, respected, and relevant. And let's talk about the real reason this story is circulating. Harry recently lost his appeal to reinstate his official UK security. That ruling is a travesty. It's an insult to someone who gave a decade of military service to his country and who has repeatedly expressed concern not for himself but for his wife and children. Instead of recognizing that concern as valid, the media is using it as a weapon. They're saying, well, if he can travel to a war zone, he should be fine here. That is the kind of gaslighting that keeps abuse systems running. It's disgusting, and we're calling it out. So, to the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, and every royal expert trying to discredit this man's security concerns, we see you, and your bias is showing, loud and clear. Prince Harry is not running from danger. He's walking into it on purpose, with courage and compassion. Whether it's Ukraine, Nigeria, or anywhere else, he's showing the world what leadership looks like. He's showing what it means to use your platform for good, even when the world turns its back on you. And Meghan? She's right there beside him, smiling, thriving, and making a difference. Let them try to spin it. Let them write their headlines, because Harry and Meghan are writing legacy. And we, the Royal Sussex Squad, are here to remind them. The truth will always outshine the noise. Full list of dangerous countries Harry has visited since leaving royal family amid Duke's UK security fears. The Duke of Sussex recently attempted to overturn a decision to downgrade his security detail in the UK. Prince Harry has made several visits to some infamously risky destinations since his royal exit, despite his claims of insufficient security in the UK. The Duke of Sussex and his wife Meghan Markle have travelled the world since moving to the US in 2020. Most recently to a cartel-ridden region of Mexico to celebrate their son Archie's birthday. Harry recently suffered a legal defeat at the UK Court of Appeals after he attempted to have a decision to downgrade his taxpayer-funded protection detail overturned. The 40-year-old Duke and his immediate family lost out the protection afforded to working royals after they stepped down from that role 5 years ago. Despite his UK security concerns, the Duke has travelled to some of the world's most dangerous places in recent years. Getty. This has left Harry potentially facing up to £1.5 million in expenses for his security personally. However, this has not stopped the Sussexes from globe-trotting to some parts of the world that visitors are advised against travelling to the UK and US authorities. Most recently, Harry and Meghan spent time at the plush Quixmala estate for their son Archie's 6th birthday, the Daily Mail reports. Even still, the luxury eco-resort is found in Mexico's Jalisco region, which the US State Department urges potential visitors to reconsider travel to the area. The Sussexes travelled to an exclusive resort in Jalisco, Mexico, last where a cartel extermination camp has been recently uncovered. Getty, Instagram, Meghan Markle. This week, the mayor of the Teuchitlan municipality, which is just a few hours from the Quixmala resort, was arrested for connections to a nearby cartel training site. Rights groups warned the site was an extermination camp for the new generation Jalisco cartel, where unwilling recruits were tortured and killed after masses of human remains and discarded clothing was discovered nearby. In April, the Duke also paid a solo visit to a war zone meeting wounded soldiers in the embattled Ukrainian city of Lviv. Harry became the most senior royal to visit the Eastern European nation since Russia began its full-scale invasion in 2022, a move which he allegedly did not forewarn Buckingham Palace about. Harry also visited Lviv in Ukraine in April, which was struck by Russia as recently as November 2024. While a distance from Russian lines in eastern Ukraine, the city has come under drone and rocket attack from Moscow as recently as last November, killing at least 33 people since the war's start. In October, travelled on his own to Lesotho in southern Africa, which the Foreign Office warns is plagued by muggings and other violent crime. Both Harry and Meghan made a high-profile excursion to Colombia in August 2024 on the initiation of the nation's Vice President, Francia Marquez. Colombia is considered the most dangerous country in South America by the World Population Review. Harry and Meghan visited Colombia in 2024, the most dangerous country in Latin America. Harry spent time in one of Nigeria's most risky regions, while the couple visited in 2023 Getty. Additionally, the Foreign Office advises against all but essential travel to parts of Colombia. US authorities also advise citizens to reconsider travel due to crime and terrorism, exercise increased caution due to civil unrest and kidnapping. Some areas have increased risk. In May 2023, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made a quick tour through Nigeria, which is ranked as the 9th most dangerous country in Africa. As part of his trip, Harry left Meghan in Abuja as he paid a visit to the country's troubled state of Kaduna, which the Foreign Office advises against all travel to. The region is plagued with bandit attacks, with armed groups engaged in kidnapping and other violent crime. If you believe in truth over tabloids, if you support compassion over control, if you're here to celebrate a couple who walked away from the crown and built something greater, hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, your timeline. Let's drown out the hate with truth. And if you're feeling generous, tap that super thanks button to support independent media that actually cares about integrity. Thank you for riding with us. This is the Royal Sussex Squad, and we're just getting started. Until next time, stay bold, stay kind, and always, always stay Sussex strong.